Hello and welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. This is going to be a 1v1 game on the map, Twisted Meadows version 1.1. A little bit of adjustments to this map at some point, but I'm not going to get into the details here. They just adjusted the creeps a little bit on those first green camps. Whatever. The opponent says race, question mark. I was random, but I usually like to respond to this question with a bit of a joke. It's not really all that clever, but it's a little bit just trolly, like, hey, I'm white. What about you? It's just a joke. Nothing to be implied about anything other than just a sort of a pun. Like, oh, you mean the race, my actual race or whatever. But this guy's gonna say LOL, so funny. But you can't exactly read meaning just from pure text in the chat. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe he thinks it's funny, even though his name's Depressed Guy. I was kind of shocked, a little bit surprised, but it's all good. And then he goes, effing deadbeat. Oh, it's going to be one of these toxic people. So, and again, these messages that from my, in the chat, it's going like I'm typing the same thing twice every single time. That is a glitch from Reforged. It used not to be this way. I don't know what happened in the chat. That they have the messages only from your side displaying twice, not the opponent's side. So it looks like you're a little bit of a crazy person. But anyways, this guy's going to be quite toxic and quite angry, but fairly sweaty. His APM's like 180 right now. I think he gets it up to about 2 something when the game really gets going from creeping and stuff. And I'm going to pull out the Old Faithful strategy in this matchup. I thought I saw that he was human, but the low screen goes real fast. So there's a chance this guy didn't see that I was random or anything. A lot of times people just ask you if they didn't see it at all, or even if you're random, sometimes people ask. Sometimes I'll tell them if it's a random person. I like to do my joke, especially if I do my joke and then the person's like calls me a deadbeat. Guess what, buddy? You can scout and figure it out. I'm not going to give you the information. I play random. It should be a little bit of an edge for me having to learn all the matchups. Or not the edge. The edge is that you don't know what my race is at the beginning of the game. And I may know what yours is. Otherwise, if you're playing random, you have to learn all the matchups. So if you have weak races, if you're bad at undead or orc or human or elf or just average at all of them or whatever, you're gonna at least get the advantage that the opponent doesn't know specifically what you are without scouting. But anyways, he's gonna go for the Archmage Merc creep. As far as I can tell, the guy's strategy revolves around just getting level 3 from the mercenaries, grabbing mercenaries, and then pushing with a level 3 Archmage. I assume, and even in this matchup, but in a number of matchups, this is actually probably pretty strong. The bad news for him is I'm actually going to be playing super aggressively, and it just so happens that I was thinking about trying to dive over here, but this was the second spawn that I scouted, and I'm getting a pit lord from the tavern with cleave, and I run up on him creeping this, and I just go ahead and pick cleave, and I'm just going to take as many swings at these militia / footies as I can. I don't want to engage the creeps. I want the creeps to just keep smacking on him. So he's got a weird decision right here to make. He can either try to finish his camp, which he's going to take some more damage, but to finish the rock golem itself, it's at like 2/3 health, or not quite 2/3, but it's at 402 health out of 675. So making that a fraction is not really important. The important point is it's going to take him quite a bit of time to kill that. And in the meantime, I'm going to be attacking him with cleave, so there's a chance that I can cleave through and actually get some of the creep kills just by, almost by a little bit of luck. And his entire army of ground units, if he's clustered around whatever, is likely going to take a bunch of damage. The militia are going to wear out. He doesn't really want to lose any of these workers. He doesn't want to lose any footies. And he doesn't want to give me an easy, creep kills, whatever. So he decides just to pull back. He decides, wow, wasn't expecting a pit lord. He doesn't know if I have cleave. Doesn't have Howl of Terror, Ring of Fire, whatever. But I'm at full health. He summons a water elemental. Still getting shot from the creeps. I need to just turn, probably just swing at these footies, force him to sort of make his decision here. If he fights me and the creeps are at his back, they could be taking some free shots at him, whatever. But I run around and I'm actually was sort of laughing at him. And he's like, get cancer and die slowly and painfully. All right, buddy. I'm just going to say ROFL, I think. Keep it simple, concise. What do they say? Brevity is the soul of wit. Not to say that this is super witty, but But there's a certain elegance to just typing 4 letters and making this guy like just foam at the mouth. I told him I was white earlier, and apparently that's super offensive to him. There's a whole bunch of stuff apparently that phrase is power. My response was just laden with just packed full of racism, I guess. Even though I didn't say anything about the other races, I just asked what his race was and said what mine was. Um, I don't know. I think there's certain people that are quote woke or leftists or whatever, or quote unquote what sort of what's the words? I don't know, social science, majors or something. I don't know that certain kinds of people have certain beliefs about the concepts of white and race in general and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, what I can entertain, some of these conversations, but it's just in terms of actual, common tongue when someone, there are races, right? And so that's sort of the joke. But anyways, I don't mean that's a joke like races are a joke. I just mean like it was the pun that he meant the race in the game, like human, elf. That is arguably species, so or whatever. It's kind of a weird word to use for this game actually, but it's just the that's just the sort of the lingo of the you know what people say in this game. So, anyways, though that's a little tangent aside. He's gonna go ahead and go do his lab. He gets level 2. He gets an item that's not terrible. This is going to give his ranged units, which he does have some. Water elementals, archmage, a couple of, a troll berserker, a troll shadow priest. It's kind of funny. He's trying to overwhelm me, but he's doing an army of half footies, basically, and half mercenaries. Not a terrible idea, to be honest, because if I were to go for a little bit of a greedy fast expo, or you know, certain tech timings, he's gonna potentially show up like right when maybe I'd be building my tier 2 or even before then. He's gonna have a massive army. He's gonna have level 3. He's gonna have dispel, potentially heal, a couple of shadow priests, possibly a couple of berserkers, and then not too long after that, if he like builds a farm or leaves a peasant or something behind, like he's done here, he will potentially have access to mud golems and ogre maulers, along with eventually the trolls will the cooldown will allow him to buy more troll berserkers and more shadow priests, which will basically, if he controls both of these, he'll have access to 3 production buildings, so to speak, arguably, which could allow him to just overwhelm me, right? But the one shining light of my strategy, well, 2. One is defend is going to be incredibly efficient against water elementals. It's going to be really efficient against the troll berserkers. And the troll shadow priests, if they're actually attacking, will also be getting damage reduction from defend. Also, I don't have an archmage, so there's not really much for him to dispel. I guess he could dispel Howl of Terror, but having to dispel it on individual units and heroes is not really the most effective use of his mana. So while he may do that, he probably won't. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. I'm going to be real close to level 3. Sadly, I'm like 1 or 2 kills away, which kind of is annoying because he's pushing now and he already has level 3. This is a questionable position for my shop. Sadly, it is just going to die real quick. Smart for him to knock that down, even though I'm only tier 1. I will have to rebuild it if I want to get a regen. I did actually buy a regen scroll, so I had one to use there. He's going to get this farm kill, which is kind of annoying. He's at 40 out of 42 food. He's a little bit supply blocked, but let's see. Is he building a farm? He's building a farm. It's almost completed. So yeah, he's got 40 food. I'm at 40 food as well. 54. Plenty of farms. Arguably too many. I should stop maybe at 48 or whatever in tech. But anyways, I've got an arcane tower. I'm building a second arcane tower. I know one of the ways that people can fight back against this strategy is just a counterattack, and I don't. Sometimes I'll want to, if he has just a small army, I'm not going to want to TP or try to defend necessarily. A lot of times I want to get level 3 and do the same thing he's doing, except on his base, right? With defend footies and a level 3 pit lord, cleave as the primary ability, and Howl of Terror as the secondary ability. Howl is great, starts at negative 30%. very big area coverage. And then Cleave doesn't cost mana, and it gives you a big splash on your attacks, right? Which sort of scale with a lot of different items you can get. Agility items, attack speed items, which agility items are arguably, attack damage items, strength items, right? Basically everything except for like intelligence items are going to boost you. Boost your sort of, even armor items are going to give you, just let you stay in there more and swing more. They're going to sort of indirectly or directly increase your damage. So let's just check this splash. Boom, splash, splashing huge, hits his whole army with Howl. Excuse me, he's going to realize he can't actually fight me with this army. It's actually terrible for him. Just the amount of damage in these little engagements. While water elementals seem really great at level 2, it's like, wow, level 2 water elementals. Defend drops their damage output, or drops all piercing damage when you're in defend mode, tremendously, and it reflects some of the attacks. If I was playing more cleanly, I could have probably surrounded something here. I don't think I'm going to surround any of this stuff. I think I turned defend on an accident on some of the stuff. I was doing it sort of, on a individual or sort of small, group basis. Like, it was like whatever he was actually about to attack was what I was trying to turn defend on. And then whenever it was like everything was getting attacked, I'll just turn it on everything. So it's like, But anyways, I'm trying to turn. There's points where I just need to have it off. Like the ones in green, I can probably just turn it off. And if he wants to focus the one in red, I'll leave it on. Turn it off when I run, right? So I'm gonna do an okay job actually pulling some of these footies back. So some of the ones that were healing with the Troll Shadow Priest, I pull in. Try to get us around, I miss it, just barely. That would have been pretty nice to make him TP. He's got Mud Golems now and an Ogre Mauler. Army size for me, 42. For him, at least food count-wise, 40. So even though he's grabbing a bunch of these mercs, he does have pretty good utility with a Mud Golem, but it died real quick. So it probably got off like one slow, and then it got killed. Now this is where I don't know how this happened. Maybe I attack moved here or something, and then I don't know. I was microing the Pit Lord because I was just I was sort of laughing and whatever. And my army is literally like all the footies at least of the army, and a lot of these are in green health. There's like no reason for me. Some of these it was okay that they're pulled away, but like that's a lot of DPS that's not going to be in this fight. A lot of like tanking units, a lot of sort of positioning unit. You can get units in the way. You can dance him around, having to get attacked by, if he's chasing the Pit Lord, dance around, sort of pulling through the footies, get surrounds. There's a lot of things you can do. Of course, with like 6 footies or however many, 6 footies that are literally AFK here. So I'm like, I'm still going to be doing okay with the Pit Lord, though. He still pushes through a lot of damage, and he's really tanky. That's another thing about the Pit Lord. He has a lot. At level 4, he's like over 1,000 health. I have like 50 extra health from the circlet, but yeah, he's still going to be real close to 1,000 even without that item. Level 3 Archmage only at 600 health. Also, the damage numbers, only average attack speed from the Archmage. I do have 2 agility, which increases your attack speed a little bit. It's going to put me at fast for the Pit Lord. That might be different if he doesn't have that, but his damage is going to be hitting for like, a little bit over, I think 42 or something like that. So, yeah, I'm going to get here and heal these footies. I missed one that was over here, so I was like, I missed that one. He's nearly dead. I'm just going to throw him into the creeps. I'm like, that sucks. It would have been nice to have him heal here, but it would have probably only got him to half health, I guess, still, but either way. I am tier 2 now. He's not teching. He's just going hard on the mercs. He's like, I'm going to get some more mercs. The problem is this is not the correct reaction to, or at least if he's trying to win, this is not the correct way to do it. The way to beat the Pit Lord, not that I should really be telling the secrets of this strategy because I do it a lot, but really I struggle because he doesn't have great synergy, I don't think, with at least with the racial human heroes. Maybe if you got a second, third tavern hero or whatever. But really with this strategy, what you want to do is you want to get to level 5, and then you want to get to level 6 at a reasonably good timing, and that's easiest with one hero. What exactly would I add that would be really useful? The Paladin cannot heal the Pit Lord, so he's not a great, he can get Devotion Aura and heal everything else, but he's not really, it doesn't really feel like great synergy, right, with the Pit Lord. MK is kind of similar. He's like, Clap or Bolt, either one of those seems good in certain points, but it's like, is it really, worth it to make it take longer to get Doom? Question mark. It's, I mean, Bolt surrounds would be good. It probably would be fine. It's just Doom is such a big power spike that it's just really nice just to get that quicker. Right? If you have to split experience, literally if you get to like level 5.5 and somehow they stabilize and they keep you from securing kills and stall the game out, sometimes it's just like, oh, if I would have just had my ultimate, I could have just powered through a lot of different stuff. Whereas if you don't, sometimes they figure out how to counter the Pit Lord, and then they just draw the game out, and then it's like, then you don't get Doom at the right timing, and then you just, like I said, if they draw the game out long enough, certain things like air armies, Griffins, Dragonhawks, like Caster Rifle, you try hero with Staff, the Staff can help him deny kills, start getting Knights or something like that. Now it's all of a sudden, it's like, it's really hard to secure kills. With Priest and the Paladin third and like an MK starting to level. Also Thunderclap, when you get the MK, if he just goes Thunderclap, I'm massing footies, right? So Thunderclap is strong like Cleave is strong, right? It's a lot of damage. It's not Cleave doesn't give a debuff, it's just pure damage, but Clap does both. It's a decent amount of damage. It obviously does cost mana, so it's, sort of burst damage, but the debuff lasts a decent amount of time, and it's a pretty big debuff on movement speed and attack speed. So not only is that really nice to just hit in the middle of like all my footies, helps draw the game out because he'll have Brilliance Aura probably if he goes MK second. If he goes MK first, he could get level 2 Thunderclap for like these moments, which could be pretty dangerous. And then the debuff, right? The debuff is going to reduce not only all the footy DPS, but it's also going to reduce the Pit Lord's DPS, which is a big source of your DPS. I think it drops it like 50% movement speed and attack speed. So yeah, we have this battle here. He's bringing all of he militias like everything from his base. He's just like all in. What is he thinking? I mean, I guess he didn't tech, so it's like, well, it's now or never. The problem is, you are just bringing the peasants to the meat grinder, right? Like, by the time they get here in the fight, they're, if you do this like out here, maybe you have some actual value from those militia. But like, they're not even militia when they actually start fighting stuff here. So it's like I'm just ignoring them. But eventually I'm gonna see them, and I'm actually going to get level 5 somewhere. And I started attacking before I got level 5. But look at this damage. Boom. This is level 2 Cleave. I'm gonna hit level 5, and I'm just gonna go just bananas on this guy's army. Watch this. Howl of Terror. Boom. Boom. Like, they have 240 health. Level 3 Cleave pushes through like 90% of your attack damage as a splash attack. And it ignores armor. Right now, peasants don't have any base armor. When they're in militia form, I think they have 4 base armor. But the fact that it ignores armor is actually really crazy. Like, it would be really strong even if it didn't ignore armor. But the fact that it does. Get cancer, I'll find you, don't worry. I think I'm going to say ROFL. I'm really worried. Or something like that. Gonna just heal up, whatever. Scum, calls me effing scum. Cool, bro. Get some therapy, or, I'm not gonna say anything else past that. I'll just say get some therapy. I could be really mean and say something else to get. but yeah, to be honest, somebody like this probably, like, I doubt he could find who I mean, maybe he could, right? But, like, this is the type of person that could do some crazy weird stuff. Like, I mean, it's just a chat log, so they can say whatever they want. So maybe he's not really as nuts as he makes out. But, I mean, he calls me an unknown to this game. POS, get cancer. I say, I bet you won't forget me. It's a pretty odd strategy. Quote unquote, I'm white. Sure, I don't know how often he hears that and why it's so offensive to him. I say use your hate because it's a quote from Star Wars or whatever, like, use the dark side of the Force or whatever. Right, a skeleton that votes far right. Okay, clearly is a lefty. Super, super brainwashed, I'm sure. Sorry, I was eating some granola bar. So, pathetic deadbeat. He's so mad. He creeps this. Oh yeah, I don't know if he thinks he's really good or something. Calling me an unknown to this game, saying I do lame strategy with footies or whatever. Or maybe he hasn't said that yet. I don't remember, but doesn't think to just take a peek at this expo, even though, like, using the context clues of what he's seen, it's quite likely if he looks at the items and where I came from to defend my base the first time, that's where I was creeping this, sort of side over here. The expo, so just take a peek. You're right over there. If there's an expo in tower, do some damage. Even if there's a 1 or 2 towers, right? I mean, you got your level 2 water elementals and da da da. It'd be nice to just check. I mean, he's right there, but anyways, doesn't check it at all. Just goes right back to the main. I've got farm scouting here and here. Sort of should be indicators of why would I build a farm here? Or sorry, not there. Why would I build a farm here? If you spawn bottom right. And, it gives you, sort of vision of stuff coming right by and blah, blah, blah. So, 2 towers, focusing them on the water elemental. Trying to repair them, but these water elementals are hitting pretty hard. Or this one is, the other one's not actually hitting it. To kill the water elemental doesn't give me experience, though, for the tower killing it. Maybe I should have actually stopped attacking it and, like, used a footy or something. He does clear both the towers out, but I've decided, and here's the funny thing, I got level 6 through all this. I literally should have just staffed the hero back. I could have let the footies, even though if I staff back, it does leave the footies in sort of a weird position, like, and the priest, like, no, well, now I can't TP them back because I've already staffed back. But my hero actually at level 6 with mana, with a tier 2 shop and production and militia, blah, blah, I actually have 2 shops in my base. I can hold this very easily with just Doom and Cleave and the hero, which would have been really funny for him just to realize my one hero was enough just to smack his whole army down. But I killed the thing and then I town portal with the whole army. Probably goes faster with the footies, unless he chooses to make me kill every building. He doesn't do that, luckily, but yeah. You just wait like a few, 30 seconds or whatever to kill the town hall and then TP. Doom, his hero, I don't know if he had a TP. He doesn't have a town hall to town portal to, so if he did have a TP, thinking he could save himself, guess what? Not gonna happen because you don't have a town portal. Don't make that mistake, by the way. I've caught myself in that situation. If you do get in that situation and you have a chance to, sell your town portal. Unless you know or suspect you can rebuild somehow. Because the town portal at least will give you some gold to buy, or trade it out, sell it and buy some other item that could actually do something for you instead of just sitting in your inventory. So yeah, I said something that was a little bit, mostly to troll him. I was like asking him, "Hey, what race are you? It doesn't seem like you're white because you're acting kind of dumb." I said that mostly to troll him. Right, so don't cancel me. But yeah. Anyways, though, it was a pretty funny game. I'm glad he was human. And I'm glad he decided to make 1,000,000 footies and bring all of his peasants to my base. And even if I fought him in militia form in his base, it would have basically been the same thing. Right? He would have done more damage with them, but they would have died all the same. When they run out of militia form, they lose movement speed, they lose armor, and they lose their attack damage drops significantly. So, and their armor type changes. It goes from like 4 heavy armor to 0 medium armor. None of that really matters for the cleave damage, for the most part. Maybe on the one target that you hit, the the 4 armor value matters, but it really matters the amount of damage and potential for surrounds and stuff that he can do, and or running away, right? If his units are slower, he's just not going to be able to run away very easily, so that's, he's pretty much committed. I guess he might have been able to TP. He probably should have, because, but it was pretty much over. I out-teched him. My level was crazy. He was, since he's only tier 1, he only has 1 hero, so when my hero is stronger and my tech's better, like what exactly, and actually I ended up getting an expo. I spread out beating him in all the categories, right? The army sizes were pretty close, but like I said, just it's a bunch of ground units, right? And a lot of the Troll Shadow Priests are pretty fragile. Troll Berserkers, not as fragile, of course, but still, everything being on the ground is just more targets for cleave. Now, you could say, well, you can't just stop making units. You can definitely try to transition to, like, air armies. The more melee with the Troll Ogre Mauler, the Ogre Mauler. Now, they're, more melee means a lot of units get clustered together. It's sort of easier for me to control where the damage goes and harder for him to kite. Now, he had some Troll Berserkers, had some water elementals. He could have tried to spread those around, spread them out, and at least reduce the amount of cleave damage, and then transition into maybe casters and then maybe griffins, try hero. If he goes to 2 bases, the time frames are pretty exploitable. It can be done, right, if he's really, really clean with the micro, and maybe I'm a little bit slacking with the timing and or the scouting. It's not that I can't lose to a fast expo, it's just that anything that really delays him making, like, air, try hero, getting access to staff, a sanctuary, and getting units that are more tanky. Like, if he buys more expensive units like knights that, they're more expensive, but they are tankier and they're faster than, like, footies, for example, or whatever, or casters. You have fewer units that are stronger, which means it reduces the value from cleave, because if he has 4 units of X amount of health versus like 10 units with X amount of less health, right? But there's more units. That means more units are taking the cleave damage. So it's like, especially at level 3 cleave, it's like an extra multiplier, right? If you have 10 units, basically, and I'm hitting all 10 of them with cleave potentially, that's like multiplying the damage by 90%, or 10. It's almost 100, right? But 9, it's 90%. So yeah, however many units, it multiply that by 90% of the attack damage that the level 5 or 6 or whatever Pit Lord does, 5 at least. It's going to come in even with no items buffing damage. I think it comes in somewhere around 50 damage a swing, right? So if you do 90% of that damage, you're looking at like 45 damage a swing or something like that. So, like I said, you multiply that by like 10 or something like that, right? Or, whatever the number of units is, multiplied by 0.9. I'm just kind of lazy, so if it's like, I just multiply it by 10, and, just assume that's 100%, and that's like, you're going to overshoot it, of course. It's not going to be precise, but it's close, right? So, it's like nearly, every unit is an extra 100%. Simple math, not important. The specific number is not super important. Just the main point is the damage just dramatically increases the more units you have. If they're ground units, and especially if they're melee units that are going to be clustered together, you just cannot afford to give the opponent that much value. You have to do something. Heal scrolls. You have to do something, because once you start even trading units evenly, if he's on 1 hero and you're on 2. And he maybe just is higher level because he's on 1 hero and you're on 2. Like, it becomes very, it can very quickly jump to level 6, right? Or level 5, right? If you're level 3 or 4, very quickly that Pit Lord's going to hit 5, and now he's super dangerous. And then level 6 is right around the corner frequently, especially if he's 1 hero. And then if you can't really stop him from doing that, that means you're going to have to deal with his ultimate, right? Or you maybe can try to mana siphon him or something with a Blood Mage or Breakers, try to knock his mana down before he gets there. But then he just, if he gets level 6, then he gets to his base, get a mana potion, get clarity potions, go in. Like I said, you're going to have to deal with it, most likely, right? Maybe not a specific battle, but But yeah, so as soon as you have to fight a battle with the Doom Guard, that he can also, he picks a unit to Doom. He basically curses it to, it gets silenced and does, I don't know if it does less damage, but it gets silenced and takes a bunch of damage over time. So that means he can basically kill a unit, and then it becomes like a crazy, super powerful, almost like a level 4 hero level of power. It's like 1600 health, I think. It's like chaos damage, hits air and ground, has stomp, crippled, AoE dispel, and rain of fire. Boom. And I don't know if it's just spell resistant or if it's spell immune. I can't remember that. I don't think it takes damage from dispel abilities, which is pretty important. If you could just purge it like 4 times, that'd be pretty rough. But I think you can purge it, but I don't think it does damage. I think it just stops the unit from moving momentarily or whatever. So yeah, a lot of strategies that just a Doom Guard showing up in the middle of the fight is going to be devastating, right? Because especially if you've been trading units, you're going to have a small army. He's going to have a small army, but now, relative to that army, here's a Doom Guard. Like, how in the world are you going to kill this thing? If you have like a 50 food army, that's one thing to kill the Doom Guard. It's like, oh, a Doom Guard, okay, well, it's annoying, but you maybe can deal with it. But if you're sitting on like a 20 food army and your heroes are like level, 4-3 or something like that, and like I said, you don't really have that many units, and that thing pops up with full health and mana, and it's got all those abilities, you're gonna be in trouble. It happens like almost not every single game, but like most of the games where I got Doom Guard, it's pretty much a game changer. It's definitely a game changer, and it doesn't always win you the game, but like most of the time, right? If you've gotten it at reasonable timing, it is really hard to deal with at certain timings. Like I said, in certain army situations, it's just too much for them to deal with, and they just maybe they can eventually kill it, but they're gonna lose like so much to do it, and then you just do it again eventually. Like the cooldown's not very long, it's whatever. So yeah, it'd be kind of like having a level 6 blood mage on the field. Like if you have to just continuously deal with a phoenix that can revive itself, right? Unless they're a little bit sloppy and they get caught, but then he can resummon it eventually anyway. If you just have to continuously keep dealing with that, when maybe you have an army of breaker priests or something like that, you're just not well equipped to deal with it, right? Unless you have like griffins or something, you're really just not well equipped to deal with a Doom Guard, right? I mean, unless you have like a you don't really want mass knights though, because Stomp's gonna be, you're surrounded with its knights. He stomps, whatever. So stomps again. Howl will cleave, do. So. So yeah, but I thought this game was, the chat was like something. I've seen people like this. I've seen people maybe a little bit more, I don't know, man. This got flipped over it wasn't even like a negative, toxic joke. I really just like, hey, it's more like a pun. It wasn't like, hey, man, are you the inferior? I didn't say I'm superior race or something like that, something crazy. Like, I just said I was white. So it's kind of crazy. But I've definitely seen people get mad over games and just lose it, right? There was some guy, I think his account name was actually your girlfriend's boyfriend or something, your GF's boyfriend, BF, or something like that, which is sort of a toxic implication, like I'm stealing your girlfriend or something like that. But or unless he's the gay friend, right? That could be what's implied. No, but anyways, this guy, dude, I think it was this guy, he got mad a lot of times I would beat him. I beat him almost every single time I played him. Like, I think I dropped maybe one game to him doing some trolley stuff. But, man, he would be losing, and if this is the person, I'm pretty sure it was this account, he would just go off, like, threatening to murder my family, me, people I knew, friends, whatever. And it was just, not only was he saying all this crazy unhinged stuff, but it was literally like the most typos I've ever seen. It was like his English, it didn't really seem like, I'm trying to remember if it seemed like English wasn't his first language. I feel like he was fluent in English, but he was just so furious for whatever, just from losing the game, I guess. Probably a bunch of stuff going into it, right? This got depressed guys, perhaps even in a similar boat. Though he didn't seem to have, this guy seemed, I mean, he said something in like Spanish or something like that. Um, so I'm sure, I would suspect he's not, his English is not his first native language, perhaps. But anyways, the other guy, I feel like the other guy was fluent in English. He was just so mad that he couldn't type correctly, right? Because it was literally like every line had like 2 or 3 typos. And he would send me like 30 lines of messages in the game. He would, and this was before Reforged. I think he even had an account. He would send me messages after the game, just like just unhinged, crazy. Maybe mixing up people. Maybe that was the guy in Reforged, and there was a guy before who did a similar thing. But I don't know. But like, yeah, like I said, it's just so many, like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna get my AK-47 or my AR-15, or I forget what he said. Probably AR-15 is the more likely thing he said, or whatever. And he's just like, I'm gonna kill you, or I hope you get cancer. Blah 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 blah. And I'm just sitting here like, geez, bro. I think it got so bad that like I took different approaches. Like I played him like maybe a dozen times or something like that. And like sometimes I would just troll him and make fun of him. And eventually I was like, I think I added him as a friend, and I was like, hey dude, you wanna, like, what's up, man? Why are you so mad? Like what's your deal? You want an AT or something? And he didn't. He didn't really respond positively or try to play with me or anything like that. I just wanted to, like, I was just curious, like, who is the guy behind this like insane unhinged persona that I'm reading in these messages? Like, it's probably a bad idea to get anywhere near a person like that, to be honest. Like, getting them any like increasing the odds even a little bit that they get like your information or something like that is probably a bad idea, to be fair. Not that I was like, hey, my name's blah blah blah, or that I would really do that. But again, if the more I talk to him, if he like sort of put on a facade, like, oh yeah, just that's just troll chat, whatever, right? But really, that really was the real him. He was just trying to get my information. And there'd be a chance where I might tell him my first name. I don't think I've told hardly anybody my like full name on BattleNet or whatever. So, and again, a person that I sort of knew through the context of being like that unhinged, that like literally threatened to murder like me, my friends, my family, like, yeah, I would be definitely a lot more hesitant to even reveal my first name to a person like that, for sure. Um, but yeah, so it is what it is. Like I said, we didn't become friends or start playing together. I just like I was thinking like, yeah, let me see if I can get some information from him. Like, what in the world? Where's he from? Like, what's his deal? Why is he so crazy? Or angry. Saying crazy would probably just tilt him even more. Whatever. But yeah, it didn't really happen. So, uh, some crazy people out there, bro. Like, I don't know. These are the type of people that words are words. Maybe they're just blowing off steam and they're not really violent people. They wouldn't murder you. But, saying you hope somebody gets cancer and you hope their family dies in car accidents and stuff over what? Me saying I'm white? Like, that's not even like a negative thing. Like, it's just, it's unhinged. Like, it sort of shows you, I don't know. I mean, this is to jump from like a single anecdotal case of one person, right, who's saying this on the internet, right, whatever. It's like, but man, what in the world are people out there like, oh my gosh, you must be a Nazi to say you're white? Like, what? I just said I was white as a pun, bro, because I understand you're asking about like what my Warcraft race was. Like, I don't view everything through the lens of like, hey, bro, I'm white. I don't start my games asking people what their races are, like, their actual, like their ethnicity or whatever. Like, it's just the guy acts like I was like, hey man, are you insert insert slur here or something like that. It's like, bro, I didn't do any of that. I just said I was white. And then the guy he's going to say that, oh, you're some unknown in the game of Warcraft 3. It's like, okay, depressed guy, who are you, bro? Are you like some former washed up pro that like went insane? Like, I've never heard of depressed guy, and I just clowned on you with a pit lord without, like, I literally was playing him with one hand for like half the game. Like, I don't even know what to say about this guy, dude. It's like, it would be funny to learn that he was like in fact some former pro or something like that. I would just be like, yeah, dude. Good luck with that. I don't know, dude. But anyways, though, that's gonna be the end of this commentary. Hopefully, you found it somewhat entertaining. If you see that guy, oh my gosh, if you see this guy and he asks you to race, oh my gosh, bro. If I could just get everybody to like make little comments about like being white whenever they play this guy, that, I mean, it's such a bully. It is a toxic thing. Maybe it'd be bad to do that. But bro, I mean, honestly, he should adjust himself. He should adjust his behavior. Like, it won't happen, I'm sure. Like, if a bunch of people start saying they're white and doing that same joke to him, that would probably he'd probably get all paranoid and stuff or whatever. Or maybe maybe he's heard it before and he's like, oh man, I just brought all these Nazis out here, bro. It's like, dude, what the heck are you talking about? Oh my gosh. But yeah, some people, man, there are some people out there that are a different, I said they'd say different breed for the connotations there, but they are just some people out there that are really out there. Like, they are on a whole nother wavelength compared to people that are normal. I would call it normal. Hopefully, hopefully that's normal. Hopefully this is not a normal behavior that this guy's displaying, because holy moly, we would be in a bit of trouble if this was like an average type of person. But hopefully it isn't. Serves in my experience, it isn't. But what do I know? Just a mega bear trying to get along. But anyways, that's gonna be the end of this audio commentary. If you made it this far, congratulations. You deserve a cookie. If you give me your information, your social security number, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to send you a cookie. But if we were friends, perhaps I would give you a cookie. But yeah, if you got this far, congrats. I know the few people that listens to most of my audio commentaries doesn't like the post game like discussion and stuff. So he despite being one of the more loyal watchers and one of my longer term friends, actually, I've known him for like 20 years at this point. I don't even think he would get to this point, probably. So, shame on you, Jake, Pony Chaser. You're not getting that cookie either. ScryMind signing out.